הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. How good and sweet indeed. Shabbat Shalom. It is so nice to be here with you all this evening, wishing you a Shabbat of peace and rest ahead. Let's begin our service this evening by lighting our Shabbat candles together and singing our Shabbat candle blessings. Please join me at home. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. On this evening of Shabbat, we are in the Hebrew calendar between the festivals of Purim and Passover. But on this Shabbat, we note especially this one-year anniversary of our response to the pandemic, to COVID-19. It was 1 year ago, around this time, that we began to isolate ourselves, to wear masks, to no longer go to school or to work, not being able to be with family or friends, being unable to join together in person as a congregation. It has been a challenging year, but it has also been a year of resilience and fortitude, of creativity, of having to respond in new ways to a new world. It has also been a year of loss, and for many, a year of illness. But we have come through this year, not completely over it, because we have to remain patient, and we have to not lose our commitment to being safe and doing what is right. But we also feel at this moment, as spring is about to begin, an opportunity of hope, that we know that the vaccines are being given out, and that at some point soon there will be universal vaccinations for all of us. But as I said, we must be patient and rely on science and medicine to move us forward. Indeed, we are grateful for the wisdom and insight of scientists and of physicians and of all those in the medical field who have brought us so far at this moment. We need patience and trust, but this is a moment of hope, a moment of spring, of light. As we welcome Shabbat, we sing these verses from the book of Psalms. Or zaru latzadik uliyishrei lev simcha. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. Let us join together.
Or zarua latzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik uyishrei lev simcha. We now welcome Shabbat into our homes with the words of Lecha Dodi, singing together. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabla. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabla. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvtzola. Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabla. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabla. We sit up a little straighter in our chairs as the formal part of our Shabbat service begins this evening with the words of Baruch Hu. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. We turn now to the words Shema Yisrael, proclaiming the oneness of Adonai. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad.
We turn now to Mi Chamocha, the Song of the Sea. The song with the children of Israel sang as they left Egypt and slavery, coming to Sinai and freedom, walking through the waters of the Sea of Reeds, the Red Sea. It was a time of hope, of promise, of gratitude. And just as they sang Mi Chamocha, so too we will sing the Hashkivenu, the prayer thanking God for spreading over us and all the world, a shelter of peace, a Shabbat Shalom. May we feel that security, that shelter, that embrace, and the peace that comes for a world that is whole.
La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Torah. Now the words of Hashkivenu, the lullaby of our people, asking God to spread over us a shelter of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right.
We arrive now at the Amidah section of our service, our tefillah, our opportunity for our own prayers of praise and thanksgiving on this Shabbat. We open with the words, Adonai safatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. We'll pause now for a moment of your own reflections and meditations and prayers on this Shabbat.
Words of Oseh Shalom, we ask God to bring peace down for us, for our community, and for the rest of the world. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. There is a story told in various traditions about a king who could not banish his sorrow. No matter what he tried, the remedies prepared by his doctors, the advice offered by his wise counselors, he continued to be unhappy, becoming more despondent every day that passed. In desperation, messengers were sent out across the land, promising a reward to anyone who could help the king. The greatest experts came to the palace and tried their best, but to no avail. A few days later, an old man dressed in work clothes arrived at the palace gate. "I am a farmer," he said, "and a student of nature. I've come to help the king." "The king doesn't need help from the likes of you," the king's chief counselor said dismissively. "I shall wait then, until he is prepared to see me," said the farmer. With each passing day, the king's condition worsened. He felt sad and helpless, and he saw no end to his suffering. Finally, when virtually all hope was lost, the counselor let the old man in. Without uttering a word, the man approached the king, handed him a simple wooden ring, and left. The king looked at the ring and read the inscription that was etched on it, and slipped the ring onto his finger. For the first time in months, he smiled. "What does it say, Your Majesty?" asked the king's counselor. The king smiled. "Just 3 Hebrew words," said the king. "Gam ze ya'avor, this too shall pass." At that moment, the king realized that all his wisdom and wealth didn't take away his sadness. But realizing that his sadness wouldn't last forever, it helped him to move past it. It was the humble farmer who taught the king this valuable lesson. As we mark 1 year of our world being turned upside down by this horrible pandemic, we all might be able to relate to the king in this story. And even though we may have experienced sadness and pain this year, I'm sure some of us also experienced moments of happiness and joy. Sometimes when I hear the phrase, "this too shall pass," it feels overused. And often when I hear it, it's said to gloss over challenging situations. But I think when we use the phrase in both the good and the bad moments in our lives, we can learn that sometimes we have to embrace the challenging moments of our lives, even when it feels like they will last forever. and realize that nothing is permanent. Throughout this challenging year, we have experienced happy moments and sad moments, challenging moments and strengthening moments. Gam ze ya'avor, this too shall pass. A phrase that can turn a happy person sad and a sad person happy is actually meant to inspire us with hope, that even though there are tough days ahead, there will be some bright days ahead as well. So we must embrace the moment we are in and look to the future with a sense of hope. Shabbat Shalom. So with that sense of hope in our minds and our hearts, we turn now to a prayer called Gomel. Some of you have already been lucky enough to have received the COVID-19 vaccine. And for many in our community and country, this blessing is providing us with a feeling of hope that we will soon all be protected from COVID-19. It's customary in Judaism to recite a blessing after having made it through a life-threatening experience. So if you have received a vaccine or survived COVID-19 or another illness in the past year, please join with me in saying, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shegamalanu kol tov. Amen. May the one who bestowed goodness upon you continue to bestow goodness upon you forever. And we also take this moment to think of those who are still struggling with illness and are in need of prayers of healing. Please feel free to add the names of those you're praying for this evening in the chat. We'll sing together the words of Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we've loved. Their memories keep shining ever brighter, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our peoples whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. Tonight, the Shabbat Shalom community remembers Beryl Ann Shapiro, Henry Vogel, Bernard Lapidos, John Gustafson, Albert Kersner, Rosalind Obel, Sam Hollander, Joseph Schumer, Joseph Stein, Israel Wool, May Wool, Sandra Kaufman, Willa Jacobs, Eleanor Goldstein, Lee Slott, Myron Cohen, Gino Leo, Ina Rosenbaum, Mort Levin, Jack Corzon, Edith R. Hall, Helen Solomon, Shelley Feldman Plager. If you are remembering someone this evening, please feel free to share their names in the chat. We hold all of those who we are remembering this evening in our hearts and our minds as we recite together the words of Mourner's Kaddish, Kadisha Tom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yorteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam umei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitarmam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudasha brechu. Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom alenu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zikronam livracha, may their memories be an abiding blessing.
Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. We hope that you have a Shabbat of peace and a Shabbat of rest. Let's sing Shabbat Shalom together one last time. Shabbat Shalom, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll see you next week.